right. So welcome everybody to the 2021 virtual Zoom volunteer holiday party and volunteer of the year awards celebration. I'm so excited to have you all back together in the way that we can be together. I did just mention I truly did just rewatch the volunteer awards from last year. And Steph, in your comments, you said, all right, everyone go get that vaccine so we can drink wine together next year. And people are drinking wine and we're together in the way that we can be. And a lot of us, hopefully all of us, anyone who on site, I know you did, went and got that vaccine, but we press on. And next year is going to be the one, I just know it. But we'll continue to find these great ways to engage people who are not just in Chicago, which is one of many things we'll talk about as an awesome development over the past year. So just to kind of set the tone for this evening celebration, yay, you are all amazing. Such incredible work that has happened this year. And really, many of you may have heard me kind of the way that I've been processing this year compared to last year is last year we had to do a lot of things quickly to keep people safe, to keep our volunteers engaged, to keep our patients having the same access they needed to healthcare. And this year we really get to do a lot of things and we get to look back on what we were forced to do quickly and then do them very thoughtfully this year because we learned a lot, but they weren't perfect last year. They're a lot closer this year. And that's kind of how I've processed this year and all of the amazing things that our volunteers have done and the ways that we've been able to really build out our volunteer program, give you the resources you need to be able to do what you do, and really move forward. One other thing that I wanted to share at the top is, as I was watching last year's awards, Dr. Jill Young, who's one of our amazing clinical pharmacists, won very well deserved the preceptor of the year. And she was talking about the energy she got from her students and how sometimes she was like, you know, sometimes they're just like, they don't get tired. What's happening? Like, we all know how we were feeling last year. And she's like, what's wrong with these kids? They're crazy. How can they keep going like this? And she was like, then I need to stop and say, you know what? Be lifted by these young people who are keeping us going. And I think that is really what is applicable across the volunteer program and the way that you all support the staff, the way that you support our patients, the way that you support each other is really the energy and the passion that you bring by choosing to come in and spend your extra time with community health is really what lifts us all through this year and has allowed us to kind of continue to rebuild throughout the pandemic. We're not on the other side of it, but we're definitely in a better part of it. And it's been a really incredible year of rebuilding and then building beyond what we used to be. So I'm just going to share a couple really exciting highlights of what's going on because I know not everyone knows what's happening outside of their volunteer world. So one thing I can share that's amazing is at this point, as of last month, thanks to one volunteer who will be celebrating later tonight, all of the volunteer programs are back in action. So that is amazing. Triage was the last one to come back. So just last month, we had our first triage training in 20 months. The last one before was February 2020. Those poor souls who thought they were going to start triaging the next month. We are now back. So every single department is training new volunteers, rebuilding the team. We've hit that mark. And so that is incredible. And I want to thank everyone who made that possible along the way. And we'll do some more specific thank yous as we dig in. In January of 2021, we had our first lab training since we had to suspend them. So we started the year strong with a rebuild. In September, we were able to welcome back on-site interpreters, which was incredible. So for those of you who don't know, we used to have only on-site interpreters before the pandemic. Mid-March, we sent them all home, phone only. And since then, and that was a had to, since then it was what do we get to do? We get to engage this incredible national interpreter volunteer team, keep them engaged, give them better tools, allow them to access video appointments by video, keep them on the team, but then also get that really unique experience of getting our interpreters back on site. So that is now a fully established hybrid interpreter program where we have remote phone, video, and in-person interpreters that can last beyond the pandemic. We have 21 states and Puerto Rico represented. Kate just put together a really sweet map that you'll see on the volunteer homepage just across our interpreter program. And that's something that we can keep and build on. So that is amazing. We have telehealth. We had to do it on a dime. Okay. Oh, you all have to go back to the hospital. We need to keep our appointments. We're doing phone now. We did these massive kind of reviews of what appointments can be held in what fashion. Now we know the value of telehealth. We get to do telehealth. We get to do it really thoughtfully and make sure that we're maintaining access for our patients who maybe don't need to take a trip into the clinic, take unpaid time off, figure out childcare, whatever it might be, if it's an appointment that can be held via telehealth. So we're now offering 40% of our appointments are being held via telehealth, which is incredible. And we're maintaining the quality of care that we hold ourselves to, but increasing that access. And going even further, now we get to really think even more creatively about how to make the most of telehealth, and have opened community health at Onward House, our new telehealth hub microsite. We opened in April of this year. So we have a location closer to home for our patients in the Belmont-Cragen neighborhood, which there are a lot of, and are able to, again, really think creatively and thoughtfully and intentionally about the lessons we were forced to learn quickly last year, and make them great this year because of our volunteers. So it's just been a joy to see us power through. I know we're still tired. It still feels like the pandemic, because it still is the pandemic, but there is a new energy behind us. There is hope closer to what we can reach. And I just want to kind of start us out at the top by celebrating that we really are making incredible progress, not just to get back to what we were like before COVID, but to really push ourselves beyond that for our volunteers, for our patients, and for our staff. So thank you all for being a part of that. I can't wait to dig into the details and let you know really what's been going on with your fellow amazing volunteers. So